Hey guys, welcome to our podcast. I'm Coach Jordan. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the owner here at 1-1 Soccer Training. This is Coach Gabe. We've decided to do a podcast where once a week we pick a topic about soccer and kind of discuss it. I know a lot of the parents of the players that we coach never played soccer growing up. The sport has grown a lot in recent years here in this country, so we're trying to just give some education, not just for the players, but also for the parents, just different pieces of advice, different things you could do to help you grow your understanding of the game, or maybe help you develop your child or yourself as a player in your journey, in your soccer journey. So just to give you a little bit of background, I grew up here in Houston, played soccer here locally at Straight Jesuit College Prep, played Division I college at Valparaiso University, and then spent a year playing overseas in Sweden before I was forced to return during COVID. During that time, I started coaching, and then about 2022, I started this business, and it's been going strong for almost 4 years now. I'm going to let Coach Gabe give you a little bit more inside information about himself.
Hi, my name is Ayomide Slako. My middle name is Gabriel, so I go by Gabe, just easier. I was born in Nigeria, came to Houston. I've been here ever since. I played soccer here at the University of St. Thomas, Division III. Was able to win a couple of championships. Then I went overseas, played in Germany, and I played in Kosovo. Been back ever since, and I've been working with Jordan for about 6 months now.
Yeah, so that's our background in the sport. And so yeah, just to give you a little bit more about what we're gonna be doing going forward is like I said, we're gonna pick a topic. We've have a couple different topics in mind for today, and then just discuss it. Just different things that we noticed that either players are lacking or parents are lacking in today's game in this country. So to start off, one of the main things I want to start with this one because it's one of the things that I notice quite frequently with almost every player that I train, and I think it's become more and more of a problem in this generation, is the lack of players watching and studying the games at the highest level. Now, during our generation, I can speak at least for myself, but also from most of my friends growing up, like the players who played soccer at a high level, we were always looking forward to the weekends to watch our favorite team play. For me, it's Manchester City. Coach Gabe is a fan of a different club, who I won't talk about. But yeah, I couldn't wait to the weekends to watch my favorite team play, to watch my favorite players play, and just from watching the games, watching at the highest level, you just learn so much. And one thing that I've noticed in today's game is that players don't really watch. I don't know if it's the lack of interest in watching the sport as a whole. Maybe they just prefer to play it, or it's just the lack of attention. In the generation that we live in, with social media, people are always on their phones, so maybe they can't focus long enough to give that 90 minutes of focus to watch a game. I don't know what it is, but I've noticed it's very rare. I mean, we'll be in training and we'll do a drill and we'll ask like questions for who gets ball first, and we'll be like, okay, who won the Champions League last year? And it'll be a group of 15 high level players, and nobody can give me the answer, which is just very absurd. Yeah, absurd to talk about. Honestly, high level players that play and spend this much time training, they clearly are passionate about the sport, yet unwilling to watch it, which I don't really know what the reason is. But I mean, like I said, I can speak for myself. By watching it at a young age, you learn so much. Like, you see how the players move, you see different skills that they use, you see different habits that they have, how they check their shoulders, how they run off the ball. If you're a striker like Coach Gabe, different ways to finish based off where the keeper is, the angles, are they shooting top corner, bottom corner, which area is the keeper covering, how did he make this run, did he go front post, back post? You just learn so many details from the highest level players. And I can, like I said, from what I see as a coach, there's a lot more skill in the players today that they get from training a lot more. I mean, how much did you train with private trainers growing up?
Never, like he said, a lot of these kids are forced into, parents to come out here for an hour or 2 hours every day to come work on like their game, like different drills, training, shooting, lots of reps. But I feel like it doesn't really translate to their game because it's easy when I tell you what to do. Like, hey, I want you to dribble through these cones, come back, do a move here and finish. It's easy, okay? I just have to do exactly what you just said. When I put you in a lot of space, a lot of area, lots of bodies around. Now I want you to, no game plan. Just I want you to figure it out. That's where I feel like the disconnect is because they don't watch the game. You don't see the best of the best do it. They don't get to see how the ball is moving, like different mannerisms and players like have. They don't see it. They just know coach tells me do this, I do this. They don't have anything that's their own individually. So just watching the games it's two different things. There's watching the game as a fan, like he said, and there's watching the game as like a player, as a student, like trying to pick out like little key details. As a fan, if you're watching there's a game right now, Arsenal Chelsea, if you're watching that as a fan, you're watching to see like a goal, who scored it. But if you're watching it as like, okay, I'm a striker, I'm gonna watch this striker specifically and watch what he does that I can add to my game. That's watching is like, okay, you're trying to pick like little details that can help you as a player.
Yeah.
And
yeah, so one of the things he talked about is like as coaches, in this private training and even our group training, we'll teach a lot of different skills and we'll teach the mechanics. Like for example, one of the basic 1v1 moves that we teach all the time is the scissor, right? So I can teach you how to do a scissor. I can teach you this is when you do a scissor. How to get the weight onto the right foot and then push off that plant foot to accelerate past the defender. I can teach you all of that, and I do on a regular basis, and the players learn how to do it correctly. But then if you are constantly watching games and then you see somebody do the move against a defender, then you have that click in your head like, oh wow, that's what I just learned, and that's how he used it. This top player, he used it like, let's say like Robinho, one of the best to ever do, one of the best at that move. You see him do 2 or 3 of them and beat the defender this way. Like, wow, that is the situation right there. And that just helps you kind of not just understand the situations, but once you visualize it, it's easier for you to apply it. And like you were saying, there's a little bit of a disconnect sometimes between all these skills that they have and then what they're able to show during games. The first time, I didn't start off, my first time coaching wasn't with 1-1 soccer. I coached in other places before. And I remember the first group session that I attended, I watched some of these kids. They were probably like 10, 11 years old. And, the coach that was there was giving them all these different complicated foot skills. And I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. They're able to execute this at this age. I wasn't doing that stuff when I was that age. So I was like, wow, these kids are way better than what I was. And then later in that session, I was able to have them do the first drill that I asked them to do, which was just a possession drill. And it was like 6v3. So, they had the numbers, numerical superiority. And all of a sudden, all that skill that I saw, they couldn't string together 3 or 4 passes. And it's like, wow, these kids can do all this crazy footwork, but then just basic keep the ball 6v3 wasn't happening. So that's when I really realized there's a big divide, and there's a shift from where we were as players at that age, where we had that side down, the natural understanding of the game from just watching it from a young age, and just that way you just understand how the game works. But we didn't have the foot skills. Now, if you could get both of those together, you really become, unstoppable. If you have the skills, the technical ability on top of the understanding of the game. But yeah, I just remember watching. Who was your favorite player growing up?
Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo? Oh man, okay.
Yeah, he said growing up watching your favorite team. I don't know how he would wake up every weekend and watch Manchester City play. I don't know who was on Manchester City at that time.
I can tell you who was on Manchester City.
But there's no need. Like you're not excited to go watch Manchester City play. Like when you wake
you're
up.
Not excited to watch David Silva, Sergio Aguero. Yeah,
that's not as a kid though. That's not.
What are you talking about, kid? A kid is how old, huh?
I'm talking like 10. At these ages, 10, 12.
I was 12 when
I was 10, 12, 8. I was waking up to go watch Ronaldo, Carlos Tevez, Wayne Rooney, Ryan Giggs.
When were you born?
I was excited. 2000. I was excited.
None of them were there when you were 12 years old.
What are you talking about?
Ronaldo was gone. Tevez was
when
gone.
I was 9 years old. When I was
Okay,
9 years old.
now you're changing. Now you're changing.
I said when I was 8, 9, 10 years old.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
at 12 years old, who was on my team? Robert Van Persie. We had just won the league with Robert Van Persie.
Well, we had won the league before, but it's all right. It's all right. When was the last time United won the league?
Right.
Anyway, good talk. So, anyway, regardless of who your favorite player was, Cristiano Ronaldo. For me, even before, like, you're right. I didn't have a favorite team growing up. My favorite team became City. As a couple of my favorite players went to that team, and I was like, okay, this is my club now. You know, like David Silva. I was a big fan of the Spain national team 2008. And when David Silva made that move from Valencia over to Man City, it was like, okay, this can be my club. Because, you know, a lot of people, their clubs are passed on from their parents who watch it. But my parents never were soccer fans. So I had to kind of figure it out myself. Before I was a City fan, I didn't really have a club. I just had players. And I remember watching, you know, Ronaldinho was one of my all-time favorite players. Thierry Henry, when I was growing up, I loved him. And just, you know, watching the games and then you see them do something crazy. You're like, wow, how did he do that? And you go on YouTube and you type in, Ronaldinho does this skill, and you watch the video back and you're like, wow, that was amazing. And then you go in the backyard and practice it. You learn so much from these players. I mean, they're the best in the world. You should be watching from them. I mean, that is how the game evolves. You know, in any sport, you have players that come on and they, you know, they're kind of pioneers, and they, you know, if you look back in the 60s, they're not doing any of these skills. But the players in the 60s were doing certain skills, and the players in the 70s learn from those. And then they come up with new ones. And then the players in the 80s pick up from that. So you learn over time and add to what the greats did before you. If you're not watching the greats, how are you going to learn? How are you going to continue to evolve the game forward and, you know, pick up those details? If you want to be the best, and that's what most of these kids, when you're spending this much time training, your parents are spending this much money investing into private training, traveling for tournaments. The clubs themselves are super expensive nowadays. You have all this money that you're putting in, money and time you're putting into the sport. I don't think is you know, a crazy expectation that the kids should be passionate enough to watch the game, go home, you know, watch YouTube. I mean, no one told me to do that. I just wanted to. So that's where I would like to see the kids have more passion about the sport itself, not just playing it, but watching it, supporting the teams, and learning as a player. You grow so much from that. So yeah, that is the first topic that we kind of wanted to discuss. Anything else you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I feel like you said your parents were big like soccer fans, so I was gonna be like, damn. So where did you get that love for the game for? Because for me, my parents were like huge soccer fans.
Yeah.
You know, my dad loved Chelsea. I'm not a Chelsea fan, but he loved Chelsea. My mom loved my dad so much that she started loving football. My mom was like a super junkie soccer Chelsea fan. Like, you know, she watches soccer all day long, understands the game. I could call her right now, Mom, name me 10 players. She'll name you from every team. You know, she knows the game. So I was wondering, like, where'd you learn that? Like, where'd you get your love for the game? For me, like, you know, I didn't grow up here. I grew up in Nigeria, so like there was like always games everywhere.
Stronger
like
culture for the sport.
like you said, like that Barca team. Like, I remember, like I was at a viewing center. I will never forget it. It was Ronaldinho, Henry, Eto'o, I believe. I don't remember. Maybe Ronaldinho and Eto'o, but I remember Eto'o scored this goals outside of his foot, and I was like, whoa, like that's that is a striker.
Yeah.
So I know, just that love, just, you know, watching, you know, I would see somebody do something and score a goal, and I'm like, okay, I want to go do that. And I would like go in and practice and like do that. So, and then for most of these kids, I feel like since their parents don't play the sport or like really love the sport, like, you know, where do they find that like time to, like, you know, kind of bond, like, you know?
Yeah.